Well, spring training is wrapped up, and the Astros are headed back to Houston to face their AAA team, the Sugarland Space Cowboys. There's a couple spots that remain open and two big questions that we're going to explore on this edition, Locked on Astros. Let's get started.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked on Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked on Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked on Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked on Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talk Astros. Find the show at Locked on Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook and Instagram. They can find me at Back to the Bullpen on Instagram and iHeartRadio on YouTube. Look, I'm always positive, always Stros.
Hey, guys, thank you for making the Locked on Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us. Make us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go ahead and check us out. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. When the new season's about to start, so right now new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet wins. So Brett, thank you for covering for me for the past couple of days. I've been
glad to have you back.
Sick with that thing that I thought went away a couple of years ago, that COVID. So if you see my cheeks are still a little red, I'm still feeling it a little bit, but apparently it's still around. But so thank you for covering for me a little bit. I'm still trying to fight my way through it. I haven't talked that much today just so I can save up my voice because I want to talk about the roster moves. Like John Singleton, he's no longer, unless he accepts a minor league deal and he clears waivers, he's no longer a Houston Astro. And I'm not surprised, but especially with Christian Walker here, but I'm kind of surprised that that this happened because he is a left-handed bat. There's a lot more moves. Jalen Beeks, I think you talked about yesterday. He was granted his release, and there's a whole bunch of roster moves that were made today.
Yeah, definitely. No, there is. We are definitely not short on information. This is not what they call a slow news day today. With Singleton being basically released, Guillermo was also told that he would not make the team, so he is no longer really a part of this team. I had actually written an article today on X, and I talked about the 5 players available for the 3 spots, and there are 3 position spots available, and Cooper Hummel has hung in there, Zach Short has hung in there, Zach Dezenzo, Brendan Rodgers, and Cam Smith. And everybody automatically goes to like the Cam Smith, Zach Dezenzo thing. And I want to get to that, later here in a second. But Logan Van Wy was actually optioned to the minor leagues. And I believe I understand why with him, because tomorrow, Monday night, you have Ryan Gusto is going to be actually starting for the Astros and pitching against the Space Cowboys. I think what the Astros need for the 1 spot remaining in the bullpen is a long relief guy. And I think they either see Logan Van Wy as a starter or as a 2-inning guy, not a 3 or 4 or 5 inning guy. And I think they're going to put Ryan Gusto in that position. Where I think they have the advantage of putting Gusto in a position like that is when someone like Lance McCullers comes back, you have a guy in there that you can piggyback off of. You don't have to bring somebody up. And also Logan Van Wy was not on the 40-man roster. So that creates an issue, but you do have 2 spots that are going to be cleared with Singleton and I forget the other spot.
Ben Gamel was really
spot was cleared, and then they haven't announced whether they're going to 60-day IL.
Christian Javier or
Javier JP France more than likely gets 60-day, and then there's Luis Garcia could get the 60-day IL. So you have 2 or 3 assignments there that could affect who's on this team. But yeah, I mean, John Singleton's wife actually tweeted out, "This is where the Cowboy rides on his horse." And I was like, "Is he retiring?" Like So I know there's a lot of people that wanted Singleton to make it, but Cooper Hummel actually fills that spot because he's not only a switch hitter, but he can hit from the left side, Eric. He can also be an emergency catcher. So you have a guy that can play all over the field and he can catch for you, and he's a switch hitter. So Cooper Hummel fills that position because of versatility outside of what John Singleton can do. Now, if John Singleton was more versatile of a player, he might have edged out Cooper Hummel. But, I like what's happening here. I just wonder who the other position guys are.
Well, going back to the bullpen, Luis Contreras, Brian Keane, Rafael Montero, Stephen Kurt, all were told that they're going to make the opening day roster. Rafael Montero, there's 11.5 million reasons why you want him to do it. And this was a discussion that he had with Joe Espada. And basically he said that they had a conversation. The reason why he stayed with the Astros is because the Astros gave him a chance before, and he felt like the Astros of all the teams would give him a chance again. And so that's why he stuck around, and the Astros did give him another chance. So he would be added to the 40-man roster. So that spot will be taken. So he'll take over John Singleton's spot, so to speak. And so you also have to take consideration if Cam Smith, we'll talk about that in a little bit, he'll need a roster spot as well. But the reason why Gusto, it's not just about that, but he has options, and you're going to have Ort and also Forrest Whitley. They're going to start the season on the IL. So these guys eventually are going to be making their comeback.
True.
So you need to have, you want to have somebody where they have options. So a Kurt, he doesn't have options. So if you were to start him down, if you're going to send him down, then you would have to risk him to waivers. So you want to see what he could do. So that's why the Astros are making this decision. And that's why I think, Gusto, you nailed it on head in terms of somebody who could pitch multiple innings. Then why they want him to be a long reliever. They want him to be a starter. And especially Luis Garcia having the injury, the possible injury where he might be taking a step backwards. They want to have all the bullets they have ready in AAA, because
exactly
Colors is looking like might be ready, but you never know. So I think that that's smart. So I think for the most case, the Astros are making the right decision. Rafael Montero, if he ends up being a bum again, then they can always just throw him out again.
Well, a couple of things. We did not mention Sean Dubin. Sean Dubin will probably go on the IL, but I look forward to seeing him contribute. Friend of the show. And I want to share the quote that you have here from Espada regarding Montero. And Montero did say that last year I had the opportunity to get my release or my ticket out of here, and I chose not to because I knew that you guys gave me a chance. And once I know you guys are going to give me a chance, it was great to hear that. And that's what you want to hear out of a guy that has every reason, Eric, to not have confidence on this ball club. I mean, you literally gave a contract that everyone I talked to about this contract says, why didn't we offer that contract to Brian Abreu? Why didn't we offer that contract? And you could name maybe 2 or 3 other bullpen pieces. And they believed in what Montero did. And, sometimes in baseball, you get those contracts and you get a little attaboy contract. And I think that's more like what that was because of what he did in 2022, because he was phenomenal in 2022. But his track record, he does good. He kind of doesn't do well, and he kind of goes back and forth. And so at the end of the day, the Astros make these moves, and we have to trust the process. And I don't want to get too far into it before our first break, but and that's where I think we're going to have to land, no matter what they decide between Smith and DeCenzo and who they decide. We just have to trust the process. Jay asked a question earlier. He said, I'm assuming that with John being gone, that means Christian Walker should be ready for opening day. Apparently he is. I have not heard
play this weekend, I thought, but that doesn't mean anything. He's a veteran. I don't think he needs that much playing time.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything that he's not playing. But if you have Cooper Hummel, you could always have Cooper Hummel at first base. You could always have Victor Caratini at first base. I mean, you've got a couple options. if Zach DeCenzo's on the team, he can play first base. So, and Isak Paredes also plays first base. You've got a plethora of players that can be a stopgap for Christian Walker, but there has not been any official word that I've heard about Christian Walker's status.
Yeah, guys, we're going to continue this conversation next. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Just Ingredients. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at checkout for 20% off. Look, you've heard me talk about this product, and when I talk about a product that I use, I let you know everything that has been my experience, and it has been second to none. When it comes to fueling my body, quality matters. That's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine, all vigorously tested to ensure they're free of substances banned by major athletic organizations. It's also partnered with two-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts the NSF certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery. While I may not be an MVP and a major league player, I can tell you that in a major way, this has helped me. I love the pre-workout. Why? Because it keeps me energized. And I've actually had that and consumed it when I'm not going to the gym, when I just need a pick-me-up and a boost without a crash. I don't need any of those sugary drinks. Clean, transparent ingredients is what I love about it. Also, without the artificial junk. Whether you're recovering after workout or you need energy boost, the grass-fed whey protein and pre-workout deliver real results. Do like me, grab 2 scoops, put it in the blender, and just visit justingredients.us and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off. And for more wellness tips, follow just.ingredients on Instagram.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to us, make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out. So, Brett, I don't know if you saw this earlier, but Jim Bowden had a tweet out. He said, according to Astros GM Dana Brown, they have not made a final decision yet, but all indications are that rookie Cam Smith will be Houston's starting right fielder on opening day. Do you buy that or sell that?
It's Jim Bowden. You know, my parents told me about Santa Claus, and that didn't work out. It's about the same thing. He does it for clicks. He basically, and after I read it, and after I actually retweeted and criticized and edited him, I was sitting there going, he didn't really say anything that isn't already known. Like, he didn't report anything new. We all know it's a possibility. We all know that they're weighing it. We all know that. I mean, Joe Espada today even said, we've got big decisions to make, and we will make those decisions on Wednesday, the final day. And so Cam Smith, Jay Roberts, we're not going to get into that here. We don't want to spoil anybody's fun. But Cam Smith, look, whether he ends up on the opening day roster as your starting right fielder, or whether he goes to AA or AAA, I'm going to be okay with it. Would I love more than anything to be at the opening day game, which I am, and see Cam Smith come up to the plate and hit a home run and do damage and all that stuff? I would love to see that. But the Astros don't have to roster him right now, Eric. And there are 2 big reasons why. And you and I have talked about this, the Super 2 cutoff, okay? And then also the service time. Well, not the service time, but if your top prospect, according to the CBT, if your top prospect goes in and wins Rookie of the Year, you will be awarded like an extra year of service or something like that. I mean, it's a pretty big bonus for that. And then if you wait until mid-June, which a lot of people don't want to hear that, but you wait till mid-June, you know, he could still come in and win Rookie of the Year. But if you wait till mid-June, that's what is known as the Super 2 cutoff. And that would be between June 1st and June 15th. So there are options for Cam. Could he come up sooner than June? Could it be as early as April? Could it be spring? Could it be opening day? Yes, it could be all 3. It could be one of the 3.
Unfortunately, they don't get an extra year. They actually get a draft pick if he wins Rookie of the Year.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, because
Yeah.
when I was reading it, okay, they get a draft pick. I thought they were awarded an extra year of service time.
No, they may by waiting till the Super 2, they get an extra year before he reaches arbitration. If you wait till the Super 2, but if you bring him up and because of the PPI rule, then the prospect performance incentive, whatever it's called.
Okay. So I basically melded the two into one. Sorry about that. Yeah. So because of the PPI, they will get the extra draft pick. Okay, there you go. Thank you for thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, that'd be nice if they got an extra year of control. You would see teams bringing up all their top prospects, but not everybody would get the rookie year. So that's a gamble. But I just don't think that anybody, the Players Association, I don't think would go for that. I don't think the owners would go for that either. But because the players would want to get to free agency, and the owners would not want that pressure to call up their guys too quickly. So it's a double-edged sword there. So, yeah. But this is just what they have now, because you have too many teams that kept like George Springer down until this time when he clearly showed that he was ready, but you had to have him down in AAA just to get some experience. And then when he came up, he led the Astros to the promised land. So that's just kind of what they want to avoid in all the situations that we've seen in the past. And so, I just want to make sure we clarify that. But
no, definitely. And
so Ben Gamel is no longer a Houston Astro. John Singleton likely is no longer a Houston Astro. So that means it's time for the kids to play, as they would say. So Cam Smith, Dezenzo, that's the big topic. I know we've been saying Dezenzo is likely the guy that's going to make it. He could play right field. He's a more natural right fielder than Cam Smith, but we've seen Cam Smith make some great catches out there. 5% chance catch the other day. He's made some really good catches, but it's just what he can offer at the plate. And I just think that I know you see Dubon saying that he could be a 60 home run guy once he's figured it out.
I talked about that. That's
and I don't know if you mentioned what Altuve said, but this kid, Cam Smith, bro, he's a legit. He's the real deal. So he's going to be the next Astros superstar. I know that for sure. When you have the Astros superstar saying that this is the next Astros superstar, that means something. So whether it's now or later, he's made an impression. He's not going to, even if he goes down AAA, he's not going to be down for too long.
Oh, no, he's not. And all that is valid. The toughest part of this is the Zach DeCenzo part of this puzzle, because Zach DeCenzo has come on. And one of the things I do like about Zach is he's been up and he's been successful and he's failed. He has done that. If Jose Altuve is at second base and we're not doing the left field experiment, I don't mind having Altuve at second, DeCenzo in left, Cam in right. Honestly, I'm okay with that. But because you have this stubborn experiment where Altuve is going to be in left field for the home games, and then on the road, hopefully he's at second, because I don't think it's going to look good for him to be in left field on the road. And just with everything going on, this is the only reason why Cam Smith doesn't make the roster. Also, to count, it's funny. It's like every point we can make, we can have a counter. It's almost like, when you put your hands in the middle and someone puts their hands on top, and it's just like you keep stacking the hands on each other, right? I mean, that's really kind of what's going on, because look, here's the deal. If you have Zach DeCenzo in there and you have Cam Smith in there, that's signaling from the club that they need those guys there. They need that power bat there. They haven't been in this situation before. So because of the situation they're in, Cam Smith may be that guy that they break that rule for, because nobody's done that in the history of the Astros. Nobody's made this jump like this early in their career. We still have to consider the development of Cam Smith. And because if he doesn't make the opening day roster, It's not a slight on Cam Smith. It's the Astros making a calculated move, and I think it would be a smart baseball move for them to hold him off a little bit, let him play right field every single day, because like Mike Stanton said, when you put a second deck on the stadium, it changes everything. And these are major league pitchers. This is major league competition. This is not spring training anymore.
I know that a lot of people are saying that both players can't make them, but Adam Wexler is one of the guys that's saying, yeah, both of them can make it. And you just have to find some creative ways to make it happen. So, guys, we'll go and continue the discussion on the Locked On Astros podcast.
March Madness is here. If you've been watching, it has been insane and crazy. I hope your team is winning. The University of Houston Cougars continue to roll, and FanDuel is giving you a chance to get in on the action like never before. So right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 in extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. Picking my favorites is what I love to do. I've got my eye on it. I had my eye on a few underdogs. They're not all there, but I'm still eyeing guys like U of H. I'm still eyeing guys like Duke. Will those two teams play each other in the finals? With tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something exciting to bet on. It's not just the men's NCAA Final Four. It's the women's NCAA Final Four. It's easy and fast to use this app. The FanDuel app is simple, and when I win, I get paid instantly, no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com today. Get in on the hoops action and all tournament long and make March Madness fun.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. So, Brett, I know the narrative has been you're not going to have both. You're not going to have Dezenzo. You're not going to have Cam Smith because they need equal playing time. But the thing is that Dezenzo can play multiple positions. You can move them technically around the field. You just said on road games, out the plan maybe is Altuve is going to play some second base. Then possibly you can play Dezenzo in left field. Dezenzo played in left field today. You had Cam Smith in right field today. Maybe they decide after a few games when it maybe costs them a game or two with Altuve in left field, maybe they decide to go ahead and scrap the whole plan. But Dezenzo has earned the right to be on the opening day roster. So is Cam Smith. Dezenzo is on the 40-man roster. Cam Smith is not. So that's just something that Dezenzo has the advantage of right now. So
he does. Yeah.
Yeah. So Cam Smith, like Joe Spotted basically said, the next 3 days will determine what happens. Hummel has, every time he's played, he's been leading off. He's been playing some pretty good baseball. You've got Zach Short still out there. You have Rogers, who's been playing pretty good. He's been making some good defense. He's been getting some hard hits every once in a while. His numbers aren't something that's great to look at, but overall, he hasn't embarrassed himself. But there are still some guys out there, and Dubon hasn't really lit it up, but we know what he could do during a regular season. He is Dubon, but he could play all over the infield. The good thing is the Astros now have the flexibility. And it brings up something I brought up like 2 weeks ago or whatever it was. Why can't you just go ahead, if you want them both on the roster, if you want to put your best offensive thing out there, go and put Dezenzo in left field, go and put Cam Smith in right field, go and put Altuve back in second base, and then go and leave Alvarez at DH. I know they're not going to do that. They want to continue with this Altuve experiment, but we'll see what happens. I think the next 3 days will tell us a lot.
Yeah, they will. So a couple things. Someone had said Zach Dezenzo is the fourth outfielder off the bench. No, if Zach Dezenzo is in this opening day lineup, he's starting. He's your starting right fielder. Chas McCormick is your fourth outfielder. Chas McCormick has worked himself into a corner, and he has to be like a Badger right now or a Wolverine in the corner. Whenever you corner one of those animals, they are fierce. And if Chaz wants to be Chasmanian Devil or whatever and earn more playing time, he's going to have to do that. And the only way he can do that is if he gets pinch hit at bats late in games and hits home runs and hits for power. So Chaz right now is clearly in a really, really tough situation because his major league life, I wouldn't say is on life support, but his days, I believe, are numbered. And if Zach DeCenzo goes out there, you're not putting Zach DeCenzo on this roster to sit him. You're putting him there to start. If you put Cam Smith in there, he's not going to platoon with somebody. He's going to start. But if you have both Cam Smith and Zach DeCenzo, that to me means that Jose Altuve starting at second and Brendan Rodgers is your backup. I don't think Zach Short makes it because although he did hit a home run in spring training, his bat doesn't play near as well as Brendan Rodgers. We know Brendan Rodgers has two different batting, I guess averages when it's from Coors Field and away, but he's hit actually really well in spring for his, for who he is. This is the former number 3 overall pick in the same draft that both Bregman and Tucker went 2 and 5 in. So I think right now Zach DeCenzo has shown me enough to earn the right field spot. Chas McCormick has not. He did have the 1 home run. He is walking a lot, but he's still not getting a hold of the baseball at the plate as much as he needs to. And I think that's going to continue to plague him. Now, I hope he does well. I want all of our guys to be successful because if they're not, and then they come into pinch hit, you're like, oh, this guy's coming in again. I don't want that. But Eric, to move away from that, bullpen, I think we hit on it a little bit earlier, but Ryan Gusto, I think, is the guy that is left that's going to make this squad. And I've seen some people say they're not very thrilled about the bullpen and the arms and how good it's going to be. I think our bullpen's actually going to be really good.
And if they're not good, they're going to be replaced. There's a lot of options in the minor leagues, and you have something that you haven't had in the past. You have options, and that's the good thing that the Astros have seen. The depth of the bullpen is something that is a plus right now. And you have Van Wy. I know he's going to be a starter, but you have a lot of different arms that you've seen this spring training. You're like, oh yeah, this guy can be in the bullpen. Oh yeah, this guy. And unfortunately, Jalen Beeks was because he wasn't going to make the roster, he was released, but he's shown some promise, and so he's going to probably join on with some other team. But I think the Astros are fine, and once Forrest Whitley comes back, I think he's going to be a strength of the bullpen, or he's going to be adding to the strength of this bullpen.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait to see Whitley and Ort come in because I think both of them, Ort, can throw triple digits. Whitley has really shown a lot of moxie on the mound. Rio Sanchez says Jacob Melton's getting no love. Well, Jacob Melton didn't really do a whole lot this spring training. Jacob Melton is a center field option. Now, if Jacob Melton lights up AAA, he improves his strikeout numbers, and Jake Myers is falling flat on his face. Jacob Melton may work himself into the conversation, but until then, Jacob Melton's just got to do what he needs to do. Anytime we talk to these minor leaguers, Eric, we always ask them, like, what's their focus? Like Quincy Hamilton. And he's like, and that's a guy that people are thinking, well, maybe Quincy Hamilton will make it. Quincy Hamilton is a 4th outfield kind of guy, but solid guy. Great work ethic, great head on his shoulders, great bat, but he's in a logjam position where we have a lot of options, it seems like right now, and a lot of guys that do some of the same stuff. And that's where some of these guys don't separate themselves. And that's why I think Zach DeCenzo, Cam Smith have separated themselves. That's the name of the game. Anytime you're selling a product, right? If I'm selling you a product, Eric, and you want to buy from me, I've got to tell you why you need to buy my product and what it is about my product that gives an edge over somebody else's product, right? Well, that's what Zach has done. And that's what Cam Smith has done. That's what these relief pitchers, Contreras, that's what Okert has done. I mean, these guys have solidified their positions on this roster.
Yeah, and I know Ali says that Bryce Matthews should learn center field. He may learn center field, but I think especially if Altuve does stick to left field, the plan is for him to learn how to play second base and become a above average defender at second base. That's what the Astros plan to do. And I believe that's what they told him when they sent him down. They said, hey, we want you to work at second base. We want you to become a second baseman. And if Altuve does stick to left field, he'll probably be the next second baseman for the Astros. So we'll see what happens there. But Brett, I'm excited to see what happens once the Astros come home. This is to kind of close out the conversation. Espada said this: the next 3 days, the next 3 games are big for these players and the decisions we are making. I'm going to really try to run the clock here and make sure we give these guys an opportunity with a good look for us as a front office to sit down to make the best decisions for our club. And of course, we're talking about the 4 guys or maybe 5 guys going for 2 spots or maybe 3 spots in the
there's actually 3 spots, and someone's asking, it is actually Logan Van Wy. And if I say Van Way, it's just an old habit, but it is Logan Van Wy. Yes. So there are 3 position spots, 5 players vying for that. There is 1 bullpen spot, which I think is basically Ryan Gusto's, right, because of the injuries, because of everything else going on. But hey, dude, this is exciting. Like I said, if you guys get a chance, we do have someone who won the tickets to go to, I believe, Tuesday's game. And I'll be at the game tomorrow night, it looks like, to watch them play. So you guys have a good one, and just make sure you tune into us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, tell people about us, and go sign up for the game. I'm telling y'all, I've not seen a whole lot of people sign up for it, and I know it's kind of far out, but right here, $45 a ticket on May 24th, Yordan Alvarez bobblehead versus the Seattle Mariners. Remember, getting the ticket does not guarantee you get a bobblehead. That responsibility weighs on you getting there on time. I don't want to promise something, but I'll have giveaways there when we get there, and we'll raffle those off. It'll be fun.
All right, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us, and we will see you tomorrow with hopefully some more Astros news. And Brett, what do we always say?
Go Stros.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, you didn't let me get the hearts up. I'm sad now.